Hi, this is Richard C. I'm a math tutor at Wyzant, and I'm answering this question submitted by a student, which has the absolute value of 5x plus 15 is equal to 10x. So to solve an absolute value equality, we go through this procedure. There are actually three procedures that you should know. One procedure for equals to, another procedure for less than, and a third procedure for greater than. But the equals to procedure is fairly straightforward. So we're just going to take the absolute, I'm just going to copy it here. 5x plus 15 is equal to 10x. Okay. And this spawns two equations from here. And one of the equations is 5x plus 15 equals negative 10x. And the other equation is 5x plus 15 equals 10x. So we can't just ignore that absolute value. We actually have to act a little differently. So I've had students that kind of like this thinking process here. Just think of this as a monster in its cage, and you need to let it out of the cage. So in order to eliminate these absolute value lines and let the monster out of the cage, you have to spawn or create these two equations, and then we'll just solve them. So I'm going to bring that negative 10x over here. We're going to get 15x equals negative 15, and then x is going to be equal to negative 1. Now we'll solve this side. I'll bring over the 5x, so it's going to be 5x equals 15. And so 15 divided by 5 is 3. So there we go. And because there's an x over here instead of a constant, we have to be careful about extraneous solutions. And this is extraneous because when you plug in negative 1 on the right-hand side, you're going to get negative 10. And the absolute value of anything has to be greater than or equal to 0. It doesn't matter what. So the absolute value of, I'll call it happy face, no matter what that expression is, it has to be greater than or equal to 0. That's just the definition of absolute value. And so you cannot have an absolute value that's equal to negative 1. And so this is extraneous here. And when we plug 3 in, everything's good. So we're going to get plug in 3, you're going to get 15. Excuse me. You're going to get 15 plus 15 inside the absolute value equals 30, and that works just fine. But you cannot have an absolute value equal to negative 1. In fact, if you look at this just from the very start, you would have noticed that x has to be greater than or equal to 0 here, because this side has to be greater than or equal to 0. In order for 10x to be greater than or equal to 0, x must also be greater than or equal to 0. And so that's actually the restriction here. But it just gives you a little bit more insight into why this is extraneous, because negative 1 is not greater than or equal to 0. So that's it. Very nice, quick problem. You should get used to this procedure for the absolute value equality, and then learn the procedures for the absolute value inequalities, less than and greater than. And I'm sure that's coming up next in your course. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.